Bonjour, bonjour, bonjour et bienvenue. Comment allez-vous? J'espère que vous allez bien. Bienvenue encore. Bienvenue, c'est le 4e jour. J'espère que tout va bien. Donc, bienvenue encore. No. Okay, so has it been with the one study knowing about the infinitives of verbs and the subject pronoun? Also, day 2, looking at the verb être. Day 3, avoir. Has it been? I hope you've been following the lessons that way. And I hope you're learning something from it, okay? Because the idea is that you learn something at the end of it to improve your French and also to improve your level of French and also to boost your confidence with constructing sentences. Okay, so today we'll be looking at the first group verb. Let's go further into verb. Remember, it's a verb challenge. So all we're looking at is just verb. So we are here in the present tense. So today we're looking at les verbes en OR. Les verbes en OR. So this is what we are looking at today. So some very familiar verbs we'll be looking at, and what more, we're going to also focus on pronunciation because I realized that most people have issues with pronouncing the ER verbs. So they pronounce it in a very funny way. So today we're going to look at all of that. So some verbs are going to be scrutinizing, studying, looking at these verbs: parler, aimer, travailler, jouer, regarder, visiter, habiter, commenter, et manger. So these verbs, most of these verbs, I think all of them, people pronounce them wrongly. So that's why I selected these verbs. I said, okay, we'll use this verb for our study. And once you're able to pronounce, once I teach you how to pronounce just one, all you need to do is replicate it. Just replicate it on other verbs, and your pronunciations of the ER verb is perfect. Okay, let's get running. First, let's look at verbs. So verbs in French, they change a lot. I know most people complain. They said, oh, why is that in English? The verbs are just the same. Let me take, for example, avoir. The infinitive is to have, and then they now say, I have, you have, you. Just have, have. I said the third person singular, which is he has and she has. The rest are just have. So why is it so different? Okay, let me also look at the verb to dance. I dance, you dance, he dances, we dance, all dance. It's the same thing. And they don't even realize that. They say, oh, it's the same verb. In fact, there's no infinitive and all of that. But here, they now said, so when they come to French, they're like, why is French so difficult? Why are their verbs so different? No, my dear. It's really not that it's different. It's just a different language and things are done differently. So every language is unique. Things are done differently in every language. So let's get to it. So because of verbs change a lot in French, the patterns change a lot. So they thought that they should group the verbs under 3 major categories, which are the ER group, the IR group, and the RE group. So all verbs in French would end in either of these 3 categories. So that means you can't find any verb ending in UR. You can't find any verb ending in OR. No, you can't. So these are the 3 major groups, infinitive endings of all verbs. So the infinitives will end in either ER, IR, or RE. So, and that forms the basics of the grouping. So the IER is called the first group, premier group, and the IR is called the deuxième group, yeah, and the R is called le troisième group. Oui, le troisième. All right, so here, for the ER verbs, so the verbs on this here are pretty regular. Also, the IR are also regular, but a bit more difficult. Let's look at so for this lesson today, we're focusing on the ER verb. So every verb ending in ER follows a very simple pattern of conjugation. It follows a very simple pattern of conjugation, but people now pronounce, when we come to the pronunciations, people pronounce it wrongly. So we'll address both aspects, okay? Both the written aspect and the oral aspects. So, and except one verb, All verbs that end in ER follow the simple pattern, except one verb, which is the verb aller. So you can say it ends in ER, but it is not an ER verb. It doesn't belong here. It belongs to the third group verb, the third group where you have, which is the home of the irregular verbs. That's why I refer the third group to as the home of all irregular verbs. So this is it. Most verbs in French end in ER. So that means after this lesson, you would have boosted your vocabulary by over 50%. That means if you go back, sit down to practice, to look at your activities daily and try to check the dictionary. If there are ER verbs, that means you have been able to discover a new verb. You've discovered a new verb, so you'll be able to talk about your day. All right, let's get going. So how do we conjugate this verb? So let's take, for example, the verb parler. So this is my sample verb. How do we conjugate the ER verb? How do we conjugate it? What needs to be taken out? So to conjugate the verb, like the infinitive, the ending must be taken out. The ER must be taken out. So, but the beginning part, the PARL, does not change. And we call that part the stem. En français, on dit le radical. In French, we call it le radical, but en anglais, we call it the stem. So take note. The PARL doesn't change. It's constant. We call that le radical en français et the stem en anglais. And what changes is the ER. So you need to take the ER out to be able to conjugate this verb, okay? So like I had explained in the second video, what is conjugation? So we'll simply take out the ER and place some endings to it, place the verb correctly with its subject pronoun to be able to make sentences. That's it. That's what we want to do today. Okay, so first, to conjugate the verb parler, we'll take out the ER. Let's go. And then we'll add the endings of the ER verbs. Let's go. So here, for the ER verb generally, these are their endings. So all ER verbs use this ending. So for je, it is going to use E. For tu, ES. For third person, E. For first person plural, ONS. For second person plural, EZ. And for third person plural, ENT. So that's it. So we take out the ER from the verb parler, and we're left with what? Parle. P-A-R-L, we're left with parle. So you come here, you write you P-A-R-L to P-A-R-L. That person just like that, you put it everywhere. Then you come up here and you say, oh, for je, you add E. So you come down here, you place the E. And for tu, you go up there. Oh, what are you supposed to add? ES. You come down here and you place it. And third person says add an E. You come down here, you place it. And new says place ONS. You come down here and you place it. And vous says OZ. You come down here, you place it. And this says add OND. You come down here, you place it. You have successfully conjugated your first verb. Yeah, your verb is conjugated. Okay? So now if I were to ask you to read this, I'm very sure you will say je parlais, tu parlais, tu parlais. Il, elle, on parlait. Nous parlons, vous parlez. Il, elle parlait, parlons. I guess that's what you would say. All right. Let's read the ER verb. Let's see how to read the ER verb. I'm going to show you pronunciation tips that's going to help you. So here says, keep in mind that all the singular, so here's my verb, okay? Keep in mind that all the singular conjugations, that means there's three, okay? And the third person plural conjugation sound the same. That means if I pronounce this, the same way I pronounce this three is the same way I'm going to pronounce this last one. I think that's very easy to understand. So the same way I pronounce this singulars, it means it's the same way I'll pronounce the last one. I guess very easy to understand. So that means they are all pronouns. That's it. parle. Wow, I just found out they are pronounced parle. That means I would read je parle, not je parle. Tu parles, not tu parles. Il, elle, on parle, not parler. And this is parle, not parlant or parlons or parlons or parler. So that means I'm reading je parle, tu parles, il parle, elle parle, on parle, il parle, and elle parle. So I didn't put L. So let me have put my L there. Elle parle. Wow. Wow, that's magical. Let's go again. Je parle, tu parles, il parle, elle parle, on parle, il parle, elle parle. Wow, very easy, right? Let's go one more time. Je parle, tu parles, il parle, elle parle, on parle, il parle, elle parle. Beautiful. Good job. So that's it. This simply means that il parle singular and this one, I guess you just pronounce il parle. I hope you didn't pronounce il parlons. If you did pronounce il parlons, please just take this, just go back on this video and get the pronunciation right. So that means il parle and il parle are pronounced the same way. That's because ONT ending is never pronounced. This is never pronounced. So get that right. Get it right. That is how to pronounce the ER verb. You conjugate it, and that is how to pronounce it. Okay, it's very easy, right? Let's move. Okay, so now I want to do a practice. So let's do this. So we said the endings of the ER verbs are E, O, OS, E, ONS, OZ, and ONT. So now let's use a verb. Let's say we want to conjugate the verb marcher, which means to work, to work. And I'm doing this because some people will say, oh, so that's the verb marcher. So if I want to conjugate this verb, what do I do? I take out the ER. I'll be left with what? That's it. I'll be left with this. So now I will go. I'll just copy this, okay? So I will come here. Okay. That is it. Perfect. So now I will look at the ending, determinism. So these are called determinism. 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 Okay, so I come here and I add words. It says we should add that. And the next one is what for two. So it says we should add OS. And we'll come here and it says we should add what? And we'll come here, it says we should add what? ONS. ONS. And we'll come here, it says we should add what? OZ. And we'll come here, it says we should add what? We should add the, so I didn't change the red. ONT. That is perfect. So that's how to conjugate a verb. And then how will you read this verb? So if you read il marchait or il marchons, please go back. That means you didn't get something right. So to read this verb, we will go. The verb is called marcher. Let me go to the presentation screen. So the verb is called marcher. So the OR is dropped and we have march. And we go, je marche, tu marches, il marche, nous marchons, vous marchez, il marche. I hope I didn't hear il marchons. I don't want to hear that. So je marche, tu marches, il marche, nous marchons, vous marchez, il marche. That's it. Okay, so let's proceed. Okay, let's look at some familiar verbs. So let's look at the verb aimer, to like or to love. So we go, j'aime, So for all verbs that begin with a vowel, yeah, you have to contract you. You must be contracted. And when it's contracted, it gives you j'aime. Adorer will give you what? Adorer will give you what? J'adore. That's it. Okay? Aimer gives you j'aime. Tu aimes, il aime, elle aime, on aime, nous aimons, vous aimez, ils aiment, elles aiment. Let's go again. J'aime, tu aimes, il aime, elle aime, on aime, nous aimons, vous aimez, ils aiment, elles aiment. That's it. You're wondering where she's getting the Z from. My dear, it's from here. I'm getting the Z from there. Liaison. That's it. So we're done with that verb. So let's go to the next verb, habiter. So when a verb begins with a mute H, you must contract it. You must. C'est obligatoire, c'est pas facultatif, c'est obligatoire de, oui, de faire l'élision ici. Donc, so we do j'habite. J'habite, tu habites. And don't forget, we don't pronounce the H. So please don't say habit. Please don't say that. To habit. No. Just what you do to pronounce the H. In French, the H is never pronounced. Whether it's aspirated, si c'est H aspiré ou H non aspiré, c'est non prononcé. So the H in French is never pronounced. Never pronounced then. Rather, what you do, when you find the H in French, you just ignore it. Pretend it's not there. Just ignore it, okay? Ignore it and start reading from the vowel. Don't say, oh, let me pronounce it small. Nobody's asking you to pronounce it. Please, ignore it. Pretend it is not there, okay? Start pronouncing from the vowel. So that's why we say j'habite, not I don't even know how to do it. So, j'habite. Tu habites. Il habite. Elle habite. On habite. Did you get that? Ah, not, there's no ha sound. Nous habitons. Nous habitons. Because that doesn't exist. Vous habitez. Ils habitent. Elles habitent. On y va encore. J'habite, tu habites, il habite, elle habite, on habite, nous habitons, vous habitez, ils habitent, elles habitent. That's good. Next verb, the verb travailler. So for this verb, I hear people pronounce it like this. Je travaille. Je travaille. Je travaille. I've heard travail. Travel. Je travaille, je travaille, je travaille. Ah, no, I've heard all sort of. Please, that's not how to pronounce it. In French, the IL or the ILL is pronounced y, y, y. That's the sound, not L, not L. The only time you can pronounce, not L. If you have E, double L, yes, this is L sound. IL or ILL is y. That's why we pronounce the verb travailler. 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 So when we conjugate it, you say je travaille. Je travaille. Je travaille. Tu travailles. Il travaille. Elle travaille. On travaille. Nous travaillons. That's it. Yon. Nous travaillons. Nous travaillons. Vous travaillez. That's it. Nous travaillez, please. Il travaille. Elle travaille. So did you notice that all of these are pronounced the same way? I hope you're noticing that. Je travaille, tu travailles, il travaille, elle travaille, on travaille, nous travaillons, vous travaillez, il travaille, elle travaille. All right, so let's try to make sentences with these verbs, okay? So when I ask people to make sentences with verbs, so for example, the person wants to say, oh, I am living at, the person wants to say, I am living at, then the person would go by, the person would go I am living at. The person would go, I am living at. But I am living. So the person would say, let me show you what most people do. So this is what people do when you ask them to conjugate a verb. For example, I say, oh, vous habitez où? Then they will say in their head, I am living at. I am living at. So I am living at. So they will go, je suis habite à. Je suis habite à Lagos, par exemple. So they conjugate this. So this is not right. They go, je suis habite à Lagos. My dear, this is completely wrong. This is wrong. There's nothing like this. There's really nothing like this in French. Rather, what you don't get in English is that there are two tenses in English that French takes up as one. So in English, we have the present tense and the present continuous tense that in French, the French present tense can be used to can be interpreted into either present tense in English or present continuous tense. So let's take, for example, English says, I am living at, I live at. I am living at is a continuous present tense. I live at is a present tense. I live at. I am living at. So that's it. Continuous present, I am living at. Present tense, I live at. That's it. So in French, we will say, habite covers it all. J'habite. J'habite à Paris. Does it. So this is fine. J'habite à Paris. You don't have to bring in the verb être into it. No, no need. No need. Okay? Okay. So that's it. It's very easy. So don't confuse the present continuous tense in English with the present tense in French. The present tense in French covers it all, can be interpreted to be the present tense in English or the present continuous tense. I live at, I am living at is the same thing as j'habite. Ça va? So that's it. I live at, I am living at is the same thing as j'habite. That's it. Okay, let's go to the last set of verbs. Let's look at them. So here, visiter. So we go, je visite. Please take notes. Visiter. Visiter. So let's listen to pronunciation. Visiter. Z sound there. And here is visit. English says visit. S sound. Visit. French says visiter. All right, so let's go. Je visite. Tu visites. Il, elle, on visite. Nous visitons. Vous visitez. Il, elle visite. Je visite, tu visites, il visite, same as this. Il visite. Z. So, tu visites quel endroit aujourd'hui? So don't say I am visiting. Don't take it from English. I am visiting. Tu visites quel endroit aujourd'hui? You say, oh, I am visiting. I am visiting. Sorry, I'm doing that. Don't say I am visiting. Say je visite la tour Eiffel. La tour Eiffel et le musée d'art aujourd'hui. Okay, that's it. So this can be translated to mean I am visiting the Eiffel Tower and the Art Museum today. I am visiting. So I didn't write je suis visite. Okay? Don't confuse yourself with that. Je visite la Tour Eiffel et le musée d'art aujourd'hui. So that's it. They both can be it can be translated to I am visiting or I visit. All right, let's go to the next verb, the verb manger. So please try to make your own sentences. You can make your sentences in the chat box. In the comment section, I would correct them, okay? I'll be there to correct your sentences as soon as I see them. Je mange. The verb is manger. Je mange, tu manges, il, elle, on mange, nous mangeons. Vous mangez, il, elle mange. So this verb, you'll be asking, why is there an E here? The terminaison, the endings didn't ask us to put an E. There's no E here. So why do we have an E here? Okay, so it's because of pronunciation. So if you take out the E there, we're going to be having nous mangeons. And it's really off. It's going to kick the je sound off. So the je sound we're having in manger, je mange, tu manges, je. That sound will be lost if we take out the E. So the French thought, let's replace the E so we can keep the sound, the je sound. So that's why it's there. Okay? So take note when you're conjugating. This happens to people when writing. They would mistakenly omit the E because they don't know the rule. So that is a spelling variation of the ER verb. So this happens to all verbs that end in GER. So all verbs that end in GER, for nous, they take back their E. They keep their E in nous. So verbs like voyager, protéger, nager, manger, there are lots of them. Okay, so take note for that. All right, let's go to the last verb, the verb commencer, to begin. Let's go together. Je commence, tu commences, il, elle, on commence, nous commençons, vous commencez, il, elle commence. So as usual, we pronounce all of this the same way. And you'll be asking, what is this doing here? Why is the cédille there? So this is also a spelling variation for verbs ending in CER. So you know what the cédille does? It modifies the sound, the K sound that comes with CA, CO, and CU. Okay? So that's what the K sound does. It modifies the sound. So here we're supposed to be having nous commençons. But that would make us lose the S sound in commencer. That we have commencer, tu commences, tu commences, S, il, elle, on commence, S, vous commencez, is S, il, elle, commence. So we're going to lose that S sound there. So if you allow the K sound to be here. So the French thoughts, oh, let's help the verb commencer. Let's help the CER verbs to retain their S sound by placing a CD. So that's it. That's why you have the CD there. I hope that's fine. Yeah, so these are two major spelling variations of the ER verb for the verbs that end in GER and those that end in CER. So take note, this will help your writing and also help your pronunciation. I hope you learned a lot today. You were able to conjugate the ER verbs in writing and orally. Okay, so if you like this video, please leave a heart for me in the comment section and hope to see you tomorrow in the next challenge, in the next lesson. Have a lovely day. Au revoir. Bye, ciao.